Hey, this is the Japanese Retro Game Center, and this is your weekly YouTube video. Today I'm going to look at some of what I call the Misfit items that I have. Basically, it's everything that doesn't fit in a normal box. Like, for example, I have all my Famicom games in an area, all the boxed Super Famicom games in an area, and these are kind of the more like accessories or sort of independent stuff. So, some controllers, some games, different stuff. So, let's just take a look. Alright, so we'll start over here. So first I have the Hypershot. So I actually have a couple of them. I have one boxed here. It's made by Konami. It's for the track and field. The Hyper Olympic is what they call it in Japan. So it has two controllers. Right, run and jump. And it looks like you can hold it both ways as well. So they have it set up that way. Choose your preference, right? And it has two controllers, and then it's wired into one plug, and then plugs right into the Famicom. Since there's only one extension port on the Famicom, and the original Famicom, the controllers are hardwired, so you have no way to unplug and plug them in. So at least they were nice and put two into one for you. Alright, so next is Turbophile. So we have Turbophile Twin for the Super Famicom, and Turbophile adapter for the Famicom and Super Famicom. So that's a converter for the original one. And then here's the most upgraded one, I guess you could say. So this was made by ASCII, and it had it would save a few of the harder RPG games, mostly ASCII games. So very select, but for those games, it's nice to have that saved data. Alright. Let's go over here. Sufami Turbo. I really like this item. It was made by Bandai, officially licensed by Nintendo somehow. And what it is it kind of looks like a Super Game Boy almost. Goes right into the Super Famicom there. And it has two slots on top, and then it's designed for little mini games. So Bandai got permission from Nintendo to make their own little mini short games, and here's Ultraman, Sailor Moon. There's the other Ultraman. And so they let Bandai make their own cartridges and do that. So, but this is only Japan. And you could also interchange data between some of the games. Not all the games, but some of them you could. I believe you can with the Ultraman games. You can build up your characters. I think you can get 3 characters. You can build them up, and you can exchange data with each other or load from one to the other. The main thing for Sufami Turbo is basically Gundam. So I have most of the SD Gundam generation games here. So that's Sufami Turbo. Alright, here's just a TV game jack, so the switch from the old analog systems Famicom, the TV, so there's just another one of those. Here's something made by Hori, which is basically the best third-party maker of the day. So this is SD Station, so it basically turns your Famicom into the same thing as the Mega Drive with the headphone jack and volume control. But you can also record on it. I haven't messed with it too much, but I was like, hey, I have to have this item in my collection. So there you go. Alright, over here I have a bunch of controllers. I have some boxes too that don't fit normally in my other cases, like the AC adapter and stuff. Let's see. Right here we have a Mahjong controller from Capcom. So when you think Capcom, you don't really think Mahjong, but they made a controller here, and it's seen better days. I have it unplugged there. So if you're in the Mahjong, oh, here's a specialty controller for you. Alright. I have the Arkanoid controller right here. So to play the block ball kind of games, so, right, start and roll. I think it's actually harder to use this controller than the actual Famicom controller, so that's why it's in this box. Okay, over here, Famicom Network. Here's the controller. Alright, select start, numbers, all that. And I have the telephone modem for it right here, and then I have the actual what goes on top of the Famicom console. So family computer, right, network system, and I even have a Famicom trade game in there. I haven't messed with it because I actually don't have a phone in my house. Like, I would mess with it anyway. But you could actually trade stock and do other things online back in the day on your Famicom, which was very cool, at least. Alright. So I have my Super Game Boy. Not uncommon, but just because of the size of the box, I put it in here. Here's the Japanese Super Game Boy. Okay. Over here, we have some Satellaview games. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but these are games that were designed for the satellite system for the Japanese Super Famicom. I don't have the Satellaview yet, but I do have a handful of games. Most of these games work without it, but if you want to transfer data and save and communicate with other players or get special data, stuff like that, then you would need the Satellaview and all the hookups with that. So, here's a few of those games. RPG, right? Let's get in. Samegame, right? Some Bomberman stuff going on. Derby Stallion. They love their horse racing games here in Japan. Alright, so that's some of that. This is one other Super Famicom game. This is Emmet. And it's an English learning game, and it actually responds with a CD player, and you go through the whole story. There's 3 volumes, I believe. This is the second one from it, and I have all of it, and it has this voice coon deal, and this actually tells your CD player what track to go to as you go through the story and go through the game. So this is Koei. They're with they do more educational stuff, so they have a bunch of stuff. This is one of those games. Definitely different. And what's last? I have an RF switch box over here. And it actually has the Super Famicom logo on it, as well as the Famicom family logo. If you have a Super Famicom, you're still using the RF switch, right? You're a little behind on the times, I think, but they had that box right there. Alright, here's another cool item. This is the Super Game Boy Commander. So, as you can tell from the buttons, it's specially made for the Super Game Boy so that you can switch through everything quickly. Do all the color schemes and all that stuff without a lot of hassle. So, and this is made by Hori. So, like I said, you'll see them a lot probably in my videos. So, there you go. There's just a small sample of some of the abstract, like I said, Misfit games, stuff not normally seen from Japan. And there you go. Until next week.